some people think that humans are aliens. And it's like, I see how that's an interesting thing to think if you have absolutely no idea whatsoever about biology, genetics, paleontology, the fossil record, archaeology, anthropology. If you just really don't know anything about those 9 fields, then I can see why you'd be like, oh, well, maybe the aliens came and they like squirted some primordial human sauce, which I know that can sound provocative, but
I mean, but that could be, squirting primordial sauce.
you're
Could
freaked
be
out, bro.
No, this is
This
great.
is not what type of podcast this is.
I
Man.
actually think that this is aligned with where we're trying to go with this. So, squirting primordial sauce could be a form of communication of aliens on different planets, right? Like, I think we make a lot of assumptions about how information can be transmitted from alien to alien, right? When we look at other science fiction,
Almost always is something audible, right?
An audible vibration.
Yeah, right? Coming from one mouth to the ear of another.
Yeah, I think it's just getting a sufficient enough amount of data.
Is that a mosquito?
Oh, shoot.
Is there standing water in here?
Well, I mean, I think at this point it's probably worth it for us to just get eaten by it.
The mosquito?
Well, they don't actually bite and eat. They actually suck. They actually are draining blood from us. And
I know how mosquitoes work, bro.
They use that to fund their eggs.
That's disgusting.
I mean, that's a great imaginative exercise, though, if you're thinking about science fiction, like what kind of other forms of communication could be possible.
Yeah. And you said something at first that disturbed me a little bit, which was
squirting of
primordial human sauce or something.
I was a bit disturbed. Primordial human sauce. I think it was just primordial sauce.
I'm quoting you. Okay, I'm just quoting you.
I think it was carbon based, or maybe not.
But we know this about some animals, right? That use pheromones to communicate. Like ants, when they walk around, they leave like a trail that the other ants can put their antennas on and like absorb or something. And so you could imagine like a species that communicates by like secreting. I don't know if it needs to actually be like a salt, like a splash. Can you imagine if like the way that we communicated was that I have a thought and that like generates some sort of soup, and then the only way for you to know what I'm talking about is that my soup has to hit you in a specific spot.
This is actually a great form of alien communication. I think we nailed it, man.
It's the freaked out sci-fi anthology.
No, man, that's actually kind of fire, though. But yeah, you're
why is that kind of fire?
Because I mean,
as conceptually, it is very
conceptually it's feasible. I mean, if you think of ants walking around with pheromones, and then their antennae are picking up the pheromones, right? Like you just gotta have a different type of receiver and a different type of transmitter. Right, could be a liquid, a soup, a sauce.
It could be something like if you imagined animals that on another planet evolved a really high resolution eyesight, and they could kind of like hawks. I know that hawks can see like very clearly from a very far distance. So,
incredible,
right? Like way up in the sky. They have much better eyesight, and owls too than humans do. Mm-hmm. And like, what if you had a species and they didn't really need to talk because they had this high resolution? They also like evolved maybe very fine motor control on the muscles and their face or their body, and that you could like communicate like that, and that really doesn't take that much energy.
Like you could send a lifetime's worth of information in the twitch of a muscle or something like
big
that.
Spot, yeah. If you have, I don't know how many muscles you have.
Something imperceivable by the human eye, but like they do a little twitch, and now I've given you like a lifetime's worth of information. By the way, fun fact, just because you mentioned it, hawk vision is exceptionally sharp. The acuity is up to 8 times better than humans' 20/20 vision. So it's like that much better than humans.
Right.
Hawk vision. Man, I wish I could like have a hawk eye.
So what does that? I guess I'm not totally sure about what that ratio would mean. Does this mean that they essentially have 8 times better vision? Like they can see better from 8 times as far away?
So they actually convert this pretty well. So it says they can see at 20 feet what a human with normal vision can see at 2 feet.
Okay.
So like the resolution that we can see each other at now, a hawk could see that from 20 feet away.
So they're like, looks like an order of magnitude better vision. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that's fascinating. But yeah, you could imagine like we base so much of what we understand about communication on the limitations of the senses of the animals that we are aware of,
right,
in the earthbound animal kingdom.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, communication, if it's just a transfer of information in any way, there's a lot of ways that that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the idea of like a high resolution, or there could be one thing that I think would be interesting to think through. I think a lot of times we think about futuristic societies, and we've heard these like fantastical notions of telepathy, right? This idea
Hmm.
that I can transmit information from my brain to yours.
Yeah.
But technologically, that could be something that's pretty feasible with a lot of these new brain computer interface tools that are coming out, right? If I have
Yeah.
a large language model that's able to quickly dissect in real time the things that I'm thinking, I can easily transmit that information to someone else wearing a brain computer interface that can download immediately to their head, given that there's some mechanism for those things to interact.
Right. I guess it would involve figuring out doing something that to me right now at least sounds unrealistic, but maybe it's not actually. Uh Determining what signals in your head correspond to in terms of what thoughts you were going to say and what words you were going to put to
Yeah,
them.
that's actually happening right now. Like there are brain computer
Really?
interfaces built up, like EEG machines and things like that, where they hook electrodes up to your brain in
Hmm.
laboratory settings, and they're having people think thoughts, and then they're able to quickly map them out to what
That's
that
really
corresponds
interesting.
to.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is room for error there, but if
Hmm.
you have a willing participant that's willing to contribute, in good faith to the data set, then
Yeah.
what I'm always unclear about is like, okay, once you've mapped out, okay, this person's brain lights up in this way and it means they're thinking this, does that then easily translate into
Another person's
another
brain.
person's brain, another
Yeah.
person's thoughts, right? Like I'm left-handed. I feel
Hmm.
like I don't know. I feel like my brain is kind of weird, like just based on the way other people think. I'm like, I don't really think like that. So I wonder if like my brain waves would be easy to read or harder to read compared to someone else with a fresh data set. Just looking at
Yeah,
my
like without knowing, because any variation should could, I guess, represent something very different.
yeah.
That makes sense because the pathway, if you and I both learn calculus, that I would not believe that if we could like isolate whatever those pathways are or whatever the neural connections are made, I wouldn't believe that they were identical.
Yeah, yeah. There's no reason to believe that they would be based on my understanding of neuroscience. But yeah, I'd love to look
Yeah,
into that some more too.
that's really interesting.
Hey everybody, if you like this clip, check out our full episode of Curiosity Theory linked down below.